So obviously, at this point in time, we have nodes here that just say 1, and we might want to actually add some information or change that node in a way that is the way that we might want to prefer to see it. So either by pressing by clicking on a node, and either by pressing F6 or right-clicking on a node and going to the bottom of the menu, you will get what is called the properties menu associated with this. So now I want to say, well, actually, this represents ABC1, okay? And I no longer want it to be that color, but I'm going to change it now to a subtle green color. I don't want a line, and I want it to be a different size, 50 by 20. And applying that, you can see now my node has changed its appearance, and it now reads ABC1, and we can look at that there. Now, so I just go through the properties menu a little bit more. Yes, thanks, Laura, if you can just keep an eye on where people are at. So we can change within this properties, also change the label. So the label, we can make different color, different fonts, different sized fonts. We can change all the aspects of where the label is, if it's inside the node, outside the node, up, down, left, right, size of font, type of font, etc., etc. So adjusting how we represent the information in that way. We can also put a URL in here. So this will become useful. So let me just fire up a window. So if I take this here, our favorite network tool, better be anyway, and just close that down again, put that in here, best network tool, so that's a little note here, and apply. So it doesn't look any different than that, but now if I click on it and say F8, it'll fire up a window there, and I'll get back to my favorite thing. Okay. Also, what now if I put the cursor over that tool, over that node, then I get the best network tool. Okay. So you can put information, you're layering information onto your diagram so that you can actually, it's no longer a picture, but actually it can go out from there, and it can basically go to a website. You can add extra notes on there. It becomes more of an information resource than just a mere picture. Okay. And obviously, it can be a bit irritating because you click on the screen and you get a node you didn't want. So what else is there to be shown in this tool? There are preferences down here. So there's the usual menu items on the left here. Preferences is things that you can general, whether you snap nodes to a grid, whether you, so if I can, where's this now, display, you can mean that the edges go over nodes or nodes go over edges if they interact. Paint nodes over edges. Now, you can see that node sits over the edges, and you can't see the edge going through it. There's also this idea that where edges cross, we can actually make different symbols to show where their crossings are, such as that. Now, obviously, we don't really have crossings here, but let's cross some edges, and hopefully, he said, but it didn't work, so let's go white and find out why. Preferences, display. I didn't apply it. Always apply. And now you can see wherever edges cross, we have this little loop to emphasize that the fact that there's crossing edges there. So there's lots of things in preferences that you can change. I'm not going to go through all of those there. I just want you to know that they are there so that you can begin to understand them there. And you can see that line's actually going across the node here because that's the preferences, which is not something I'll change. Preferences, display, paint nodes over edges, apply, and now we're not having lines going through our nodes. Okay, lots of things you can change there. Within here we can align nodes. So if we want to sort of take these set of nodes here and align them, so select them. So again, shift and drag the mouse and you'll select numerous nodes. And what did we say? We want to align them, so we're going to align them to the top. And you can see they're now all aligned according to their top margin. Okay? All useful little tools in beginning to take this here. Tools, you can analyze this graph and it tells you how many nodes and edges it has in there. There are various network topologies here. I never use these, so I don't entirely sure. Selected nodes 4. There's a self loop count, so that's when edges go back to themselves. That would count those. So again, you can do some network stats on here. You can group nodes together, so if we group those like that, then they become a set that I can move around as a group. Okay? So if you wanted to take some nodes and move them from one place to another, you can use those there. Okay, so I think that's probably most of the things that we might want to do here. What I'm going to do, and you can see here on the windows here, we have an overview. So even though we're only looking at this portion of the graph, we can see where we are relative to everything else. This is the neighborhood. So if I click on this node, it tells me who this node is connected to, who's its neighbors, if you like. Did we cover neighbors? The idea of parents and children. So parents are nodes that link down or upstream of other nodes, and children are the nodes downstream of a node. Just in network talk. So I think that's probably enough on, do we feel comfortable with this tool that we can do some stuff with it now in anger? Well, not in anger. Well, maybe you'll be angry. But what we're going to do now is sort of set up for drawing some diagrams.